Hi guys, I'm Patrick and welcome to another lesson of Learn iOS 10 Programming. Today I'm going to teach you how to pass data from one view controller to another. So let's start by creating a single view application, just opening up the storyboard. Now what you want to do is create another view controller. Actually, no, leave it like this. So what we're going to do is the app is going to let you enter the text in the text field. Then when you press return on the keyboard, it's going to present you another view controller, which is going to tell you what you've just written. So let's start by putting that text field in the first view controller, stretched out, set the constraints, and vertically align. Let's just set the placeholder to text, change the font, because I like the Helvetica light. Alignment to middle, and let's put labels so the person knows what to do. So left, right, enter some text, change the font, now let's run the app and see what happens. Okay, I forgot the constraints for the label. Let's try that again. Enter some text, and when we press the text field, it gives us the ability to write some text. It's great, but when we press return, nothing happens. So let's first solve how to remove the keyboard, and also you can select command key K. As you can see here, keyboard toggle software. So it's just to remove on-screen keyboard from the simulator. But how do we remove it when the user presses return key? So what you want to do is open Assistant Editor, connect the text field to the code, text to enter, and set the delegate to self. So delegate of the text to enter text field is going to be this view controller class. Now what we want to do is subclass it, so UI text field delegate, and we have to implement one function from that delegate. Text field should return. What you want to do is say text to enter dot resign first responder and return yes, true. Okay, now let's run it and see what happens. So now when we type some text and click the return key, the keyboard disappears. That's exactly what we want. So now, how do we get the text from the text field? Let's just print the text user entered is text to enter dot text. So the text property of the text field returns what user has typed into it. You can also set the text in it, but that's not what we're doing right now. So let's open the app. Now when we type something and say return, here in the console it says text user entered is this. How do you open this down here? If you don't know, just press this middle button. Okay, so now we want to make a new view controller. So let's just place another one here. return to the standard editor, and let's just say a label. Okay, let's set the constraints. Middle, change the font. Text. So how do we present this view controller? Well, first select this, open the identity inspector, and under the storyboard ID say show text, and select use storyboard ID. Now what you want to do is go to view controller, create a new variable which is going to be that view controller. But how do we get it? Well, we have the storyboard variable that instantiate view controller with identifier show text, and then we can present that view controller animated, of course, because it looks fancy, and completion we don't need it right now, and force unwrap because maybe there is no view controller with that identifier. So let's see what happens now. So now when we enter some text and say return, it presents that new view controller. But how do we set the text here? First, what you want to do is create a new class. Let's name it show text. Go to the storyboard, and here under the identity inspector, under class, say snow text. Well, whatever. Let's just leave it like that. And now we need to change some. But now what we need to do actually is open assistant editor so we can connect that label. And we're also going to create one more class property, which is going to be text that user entered. And let's just print that text. But now how do we tell this view controller what the text that user entered is? Well, what you want to do is go back to view controller and force this to be snow text view controller. So now we can access its properties and say we see that text that user entered is, let's just leave it fancy like this. Oh, actually just text to enter dot text. We can remove this now, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now when we enter some text and say return, in the console we see the text that we returned, which means that we have it stored in the text that user entered property. So what we want to do is just show it in the label. So let's say label.text is equal to text that user entered. Now when we run the app, it should show us the text that we entered. So let's write something random, and it says that. But let's make it a little bit more beautiful. The text that user enters is, we are going to run in a little bit of problem, and you're going to see why very soon. So if we type something really long, it's going to be this ... which is not what we want. So how do we fix that? Well, there is a very useful property, adjusts font size to fit width, and just set it to true, and all our problems are fixed. It's going to work flawlessly. So we enter some text, a really long one, and it automatically resizes the font size so it can fit. I'll just show you one more time with short text, so you can see that it's hello world. The text that user entered is hello world. So it works flawlessly, and that would be it from this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to click that like button. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Anyways guys, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.